Sam Spiegelman from Rivals.com here with Rivals 100 offensive lineman, Ohio State commitment Donovan Jackson. He's wearing his Episcopal shirt. I'm imagining you just finished up some sort of workout that your high school coach gave you. We were joking offline, but let's just dive right into it. Coach Lees is not giving you guys days off. You're supposed to be starting spring football, around this time. Obviously, it sucks to be losing that going into your senior season. But what has quarantine life been like, and what have Coach Lee's workouts been like for you?
Well, quarantine life for me is just spending more time around my family. And it turns out I actually like them a lot. Um, but with Coach Lee's, he doesn't give assigned workouts. He just says that if you want to be great, you have to work out. Like you have to come out of this quarantine better than you came in. So he expects us to, put in the work. So when the season comes around, we'll be ready. So it's not like a week to prepare, just get ready for football. We come in ready for football.
Well, you're supposed to come in better than you were, but that's kind of tough for you, right? Already a top 50 prospect on Rivals, just dominated in Houston and punched your second ticket to the five-star challenge. Obviously, that's all up in the air because of the coronavirus. But what are some of the ways that you've tried to kind of make yourself better, whether it's with workouts or reviewing tape from last season? What's been going on in Donovan Jackson's world as he tries to get better?
Well, thankfully I have access to a weight room, so I'm still able to, lift weights, stay in shape. I'm working on hand placement, something I'm still carrying over from last year, because I just feel like if I can stop someone before they get going, then it's less work on me, and so it's obviously something I'm really working on. But it's just the little things like fundamentals, running, getting cardio in, stuff like that.
So you don't have to go to school, right? So not that you're not doing schoolwork, but it probably becomes a little bit trying for mom and dad and having to feed their four-star offensive lineman 3 times a day. What has life been like in Donovan Jackson's kitchen the last couple of weeks?
My mom hates it. Um, it's horrible for I honestly feel bad sometimes. But after I work out, like I just eat and eat and eat, and she looks at me sometimes like, "Are you serious?" I'm like, "I'm sorry, like I'm a big boy. I gotta eat."
What's on the menu?
A lot of pasta because she can make that in bulk, so it's in the fridge waiting for me. We have meats all over the house to get protein up, but it's just a lot going on. I
So a
drink
lot of
almost.
pasta. Are you gaining weight during this quarantine? Are you losing weight? What's the weight been like?
I'm still at 290. I haven't gained or lost anything, but I usually fluctuate around 5 pounds in that range. But
What
yeah, I drink almost a pound of milk a day and all that.
what do you want to be at whenever your senior season starts?
Senior season starts, I want to be around 300 because I gradually lose throughout the season. So I'm probably going to end it around 295, 290. And then whatever weight Ohio State tells me to be at, I'll be at that before I go there.
That's a good approach. You talk about Ohio State. I've been doing these interviews. A lot of uncommitted guys that were in your shoes at one point with all the options to choose from. But you've been committed for a couple of months already. First off, what has life been like getting that decision off your shoulders and just kind of focusing on things like eating pasta and drinking milk and working out and finishing projects for school?
It's nice. It's a lot quieter. I get to focus on being a high school student a lot more. I mean, obviously, there are some coaches that are still on you because they're like, hey, it's not done until you sign the dotted line, which is understandable. But for the most part, it's just me and Ohio State communicating back and forth.
What has it been like? I mean, obviously, like we said, you committed, but there is a couple more months until you sign. They're not going to stop recruiting you until that paperwork is faxed in. What has it been like getting virtually recruited by Coach Ryan Day and his staff the last couple of weeks?
Well, with Coach Day, they do a fantastic job. With me, with communication wise, he wasn't overbearing, but he still had like weekly check-ins talking about more than just football. That's what your hobbies, what you're interested in. So you try to build a relationship off that. he would ask questions that every coach doesn't ask, because once you hear one coach talk, you start to hear a pattern. But he'll try to talk to you as a person rather than a football player, to talk to your family. Then you'll somewhat revert it back to football. And so with me, I had Ohio State in my mind, even with the whole Urban Meyer retiring and Ryan Day coming in. I was like, okay, I'm still probably going to go to Ohio State, um, just because it was the best fit for me academically and athletically. But knowing that Coach Day is there is it's a great feeling for me.
Has there been any kind of like funny aspect to the virtual recruiting for any of these visits? Like you saw a coach like say something funny, or they're kind of recruiting kind of like we are. We're in our separate rooms. Did you see something like funny on the wall, or any stories for us?
Oh, when I was on the Zoom call with the staff, they all had different backgrounds on their Zoom. It's like some had Ohio Stadium, some had like me in the background. It was really hard to focus.
Yeah, I mean, you're not used to staring at a picture of yourself in someone's background.
Yeah, I was like, wait, what'd you say? I was just like,
I was just staring at myself in your window. You mentioned some schools besides Ohio State have kept in touch. What is that like to kind of balance your recruitment? I mean, right now you would have the ability to be going to spring games and junior days and visits. What has it been like trying to weigh? Should I take this Zoom call real quick? Should I take this FaceTime call, or has it not been too stressful for you?
well, for me, I'm like 100% committed to Ohio State. Like some of the coaches where I had a good relationship with, and they're like, hey, I understand you're committed to Ohio State. I just want to check in how you and your family are doing. Obviously, I'm gonna respond to that. I'm still respectful to all coaches. I don't want to burn bridges or anything. But when it comes to like, hey, come join this Zoom call with the entire coaching staff, I'm like, I can't do that.
So we talked a little bit about quarantine workouts, a little bit about quarantine recruiting, and a little bit about the kitchen during quarantine. But in terms of football, I know that your dad knows his stuff when it comes to football. What has it been like, replacing Coach Lease with dad and getting mentored a little bit by him, one on one these last couple of weeks?
Um, it's probably harder than I mean, but he just expects the best out of me, which I can appreciate. So I just gotta get 1% better every day, and with him, I have to. So it's not only him; it's some of my other coaches. They help me out, and so I am getting like football work in, no kick step and all that, and 3-point stance. But I'm just staying sharp because as soon as the quarantine's lifted, I go back to work.
I think we could safely say that we just can't wait for this quarantine to be lifted, because we all, we can't wait for you to go back to football, and I can't wait to be on the sidelines while you play football. That's kind of what our normal is, right? What um what is it like trying to stay positive during a time like this, and trying to, just say like I'm going to get my senior year in, I'm going to play football one more time for Bel Air Episcopal. What has it been like trying to maintain that happy approach?
Well, for me, it was like you have to control what you can control. What I can control is staying in shape, like getting better every day, and maintaining that positive attitude. Just obviously, yes, I would love to play my senior season, and I would love to put on that royal blue jersey one more time, or for one more season. And so, I'm an optimistic guy. I'm a glasses half full type of person. So, I'm I'm in my head. I'm like, okay, I'm getting ready for my senior season. And so I would very much like for that to happen. Right.
You and me both, buddy. One of the things that unfortunately comes with quarantine is it feels like there's like 37 hours in a day. It's like the days last so long. What are some new hobbies, new interests that have you kind of developed over the last couple of weeks?
Um, just, family plays Uno after all the meals now. Starting to get back into 2K again, and then just the projects my teachers give me.
Yeah, you were saying off air that you lost finals week, but you were given what, 3 projects to complete. What are those projects you're working on, Donovan?
Well, I had a at home lab with the lab report. I just finished that one. Then I'm in the process of making a for AP US history. I have to make my own DBQ with document based questions. Yeah, and I have to make my own with their own questions, and then I have to answer it myself.
Oh,
And
geez.
then I have to write a 3-page paper over a book.
Okay, the last one is the only one I can get behind because I think it's the only one that I could also do. So um, that's quarantine life. But one of the interest you committed in January. Um,
Mhm.
since then, it seems like Ohio State is the hottest team in the country for the 2021 class, the 2022 class. They got their first commitment last night. What is going on with Ohio State recruiting right now, and what's it feel like to be a part of this wave right now that has taken the country by storm during this quarantine?
I can't explain it. I'm sometimes just more in shock as you are. I'm on Twitter and I'll see, oh, Crystal Ball just got put in for this guy. I'm like, wait. And so like we're all in one group chat. And so we're like, hey, is this guy about to commit? And then like probably through like an hour later he commits and we add him in the group chat. We're like, whoa, why didn't you say anything to us? But Ben Chrisman, Jack Sawyer, Kyle McCord, Big Mar, we're all constantly talking back and forth, and we recruit just as much as the coaches do. The coaches, they can't do as much as the recruits can do. So the coaches do an amazing job. It's up to the players and guys you want in that locker room. And so we're trying to build pretty much the locker room Ohio State's always had, which is a tight knit brotherhood. And so we're trying to go out and get the best guys, the guys that we think could thrive in that system. And we just say like, hey, we think you could do really well in the system. We give them the reasons why. We don't like tell them what they want to hear. Like, hey, you're gonna do this and this. You're gonna break all these records. We're like, hey, like there's you can do great things here, and here's why, basically. And so far, that's worked. I haven't talked to the 2022 kid yet, but from what I've heard, he's an amazing player. So I'm looking forward to meeting him.
Jair is certainly an amazing player. And he's from Cincinnati originally, which I know that you could understand having the ties back home.
Mm-hmm.
Someone who doesn't have ties to Ohio, besides Ohio State, is Tunmiche, who I know you know very well. You guys are two of the best in the 2021 class, regardless of position. He used to live not too far away from you and Katie, and now he's at IMG. I want to say, were you surprised when you heard his commitment was coming, but it seems like you might have already had a clue that it was coming.
I was somewhat surprised because there were schools making a late push. We've known each other since we played together in 8th grade and known each other longer, and so we've always talked about playing together. And at first it was a different school, but then it kind of slowly went to Ohio State. We're like, hey, you're a pass rusher. Coach Johnson is probably the greatest pass rusher coach in college football. So I'm a lineman. Coach Stud is a great lineman coach in college football. Like, let's make this work. They're the same school. And so for a while it was we're gonna both go to Ohio State. Then some schools started trending for him, but I think we just both realized that Ohio State was where we wanted to go. And so it's great, to play with each other again, going against each other in practice every day.
Well, we would have had the opportunity to see you guys go against each other at the 5-Star Challenge if that were to have happened in July or June or whatever it was. But obviously that doesn't seem likely. Tell whoever's listening here, because obviously there's gonna be a lot of Ohio State fans tuning in. What kind of pass rusher is Tunmiche? And as obviously one of the best offensive linemen in this class and someone who's very good at pass protection, what is it like trying to slow him down as he's trying to get to the quarterback?
Well, I have very long arms, but when I block Tamisha, I feel like I have really short arms. His arms are long. Like usually I can get my arms out to get to the defensive line before they touch me. But when I shoot my hands, his arms are already on me, and he's already long arming me, and he's already pulling off moves. So that's what's really I haven't gone against him in quite some time since he's moved to IMG, but from when I so much better, so much quicker.
Last thing is obviously we talked about the momentum. I don't even know how many spots are left in Ohio State's class, which is currently number 1 in the country. But who's kind of on your mind? Who's on y'all's wish list to kind of round out this 2021 class with?
Um, all right. I know for offensive line, Jagger Burton, JC Latham. I know we're shooting for Emeka and Troy Stello. And then I think we're taking one more cornerback, I want to say. And then
Is he coming from Texas?
I don't know.
Or
I think
and you don't want to say.
I actually don't know. I don't
Okay.
know what Coach is doing over there. He's doing magical things. But hold on, let me think. Yeah, and then we're shooting for linebackers.
Linebackers. And then what's next for this haircut? This hair is getting pretty long, Donovan.
Yeah.
Are we growing it out for the season, maybe?
I'm not growing out for the season. It's just quarantine, man. But as soon as this lifted, the first place I'm going is the barbershop.
I could definitely understand that. Well, we appreciate you hopping on with us, Donovan.
No problem.